I'm not taking Ferrari, that would be too easy. Find out everything else right here, right now. Greetings Rummies and welcome to RomRom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. What do you do in a management game? Well, you manage whatever it is. In the case of this game, you prepare the car for the next race, see to it that the setup is as good as possible, strategize the race, and after the race, you handle the finances, scout for new drivers, check the sponsors, and hopefully, gradually improve your team until it's number one and the drivers with it. Oh, wait, I've been showing you images of Motorsport Manager, a game that came out in 2016. Wait. Here we go, that's F1 22 Manager. In this game, you manage one of the existing teams, move development ahead, check the drivers, etc. You won't be able to bring in a new team, which is realistic seeing how strongly the companies running F1 are opposing Andretti Motorsports getting in and getting a piece of their cake. But it would have been nice to create your own team and have it thrive like HRT did or Haas. I get their point now. So you manage the team in between races and of course in the race weekends where the adrenaline flows. You can set everything until the race on automatic and then the game handles it, but of course the fun is in going through practice, qualifying and then the race. In practice you will have to find the optimal setup for the track, which is done quite similarly to how it was done in Motorsport Manager. Only somehow in Motorsport Manager it was easier for me to find a good setup, but that may be just me. Although the setup window in F1 22 Manager showing the best setup outside the optimal window is confusing and irritating. As in real life, you get 3 time-boxed practice seasons, and the sooner you get the setup ready, the sooner you can have your drivers just drive to learn the track specifics of the season and get to know how to handle the car better. With hopefully the best setup possible, you'll go to qualifying, which of course follows the rules of F1, and you will have to send the pilots out at the right time to get a good result. See that you still have good enough tires for them. You used all softs in practice? Well, good luck then. You'll shout in anger and grief when they fail to reach the next level or rejoice when they do. Regardless on where you ended up in the grid, we come to the masterclass. The race. One thing that F1 22 Manager does very well and better than Motorsport Manager is the excitement of the race, especially because it shows you quite realistic images from your race, which brings many elements to life and immerses you in the action in a way the cartoony graphics of Motorsport Manager did not. And here I often did end up not speeding up the race as I needed to handle everything, although you can do that to 2 times, 4 times, 8 times and 16 times. And one race even was red flagged and had me rethinking my possible strategies for a while. It really kept me at my toes with a severe case of Horner leg. What hurts the immersion are things like hearing of a lockup thrice, once from the pilot, then from the engineer telling the pilot to be careful not to lock up. Too late, mate, too late. And then from the TV commentators telling you your pilot locked up. Gee, thanks, once is enough, people. On the other hand, and especially in the practice sessions, hearing the real-life race engineers and the real-life pilots give instructions and feedback is a plus. But as the sentences the game has at its disposition are quite reduced, this novelty gets repetitive after a while. And why do the engineers only know lift and coast to save fuel? Did nobody tell Frontier about the different fuel mixes used in racing? Again, the game would have benefited from more diversity in the communication, more sentences, better scripted. And another thing that grates me the wrong way are the hyper-motivated, ever so chirpy, everything is life-deciding TV commentators.
And a new position, just gained by Williams. Let's see what happened there. Now look at this, Daniel Ricciardo involved here. They take advantage and muscle their way through. Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
I know this seems to be part and parcel of English-spoken TV commentators, but it's already fake enough on any broadcast, and it feels even more fake here. Even more than it does in the F1 2000 and something racing games. Also because whoever scripted the sentences also did a poor job here, and you get very general worded sentences that say nothing and add nothing to the immersion. Frontier should have saved themselves the money for this and put the money into the QA. Also, as with the F1 racing games, I got the impression that when you speed up the time in qualifying, you get worse results than when you let the time flow, especially at the end of a session, as if speeding up the time would make the AI faster. I may be completely and utterly wrong, but I just could not shake the feeling. And it's very strange they don't show any weather data other than the situation at the very beginning of the race. It's important to know which kind of weather to expect when setting up the strategy, and even things like probability of safety cars based on historical data. The weather is a very strange and glaring oversight which Motorsport Manager did not have. Also, not being able to give team orders is another strange oversight, as these are part and parcel of racing, no matter how you stand on the sportsmanship or morality of them. It would have been even better if, depending on the character of the driver, they would accept a multi-21 order or not. And while we're at it, Motorsport Manager made a much better job at designing an intuitive UI than this game 6 years later. Yes, it's a complex world, but better UI design and better user experience decisions could have made handling the complexity easier, not more difficult. And another strange thing, but it may be triggered by Steam, is that starting this game automatically starts my Oculus software. Not a big deal, but strange nonetheless, as this game has no VR that I know of. Reviews like this are made possible by the graceful donations of our patrons. If you want to help us spread our wings like these great people, become a patron. Amongst other perks, it will fix your name for posterity, but you'll also get to know what we plan and what we're doing. So a big thank you to our patrons. If you come here regularly, please consider subscribing. So, after all my moaning, is this a bad game?
Good move.
No, not really. It has everything you'd expect from a motorsport management game. It has some of the atmosphere of Modern Life F1, and it's a nice enough entry to the list of management games. But if you're not a complete F1 fan that needs to have the people's names, the sponsors, and the cars exactly as they are in F1, you will have as much fun with Motorsport Manager and maybe a realism mod from its workshop, which you can surely get quite cheap in the next Steam sale. You may miss one or two things that make F1 22 Manager endearing, but you won't miss much. You'll save yourself a ton of money and get as good a game. In parts an even better game, as Motorsport Manager has more depth overall, especially in the long-term strategy part, and 3 different series to play through. F1 22 Manager could have been so much better with just a couple of changes that it ends up being a missed opportunity to make a strong entry into the world of motorsports management. These may be marketing, as if you enter at 100%, you don't have much room for improvement, and marketing for the game next year. As I fear, this will be a game that gets released every year like other franchises. But it's still a missed opportunity. Not a bad game, just not a revolution within the niche of motorsport management games. And I hope they get rid of the bugs and inconsistencies sooner rather than later. We, on the other hand, cannot get enough of you, and hopefully you cannot get enough of us. So go and check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.